Hello, welcome to Daily Records, and today's record is Paul McCartney's Tug of War. This is his, technically, I guess it's his third solo album, not including the records he did with Wings. I put everything under Paul McCartney. It was released in April of 1982. But this is the first album that he really did after the Wings thing in the early 80s. And it was definitely the first album after John Lennon was killed. And so some of the songs on the album reflects that, particularly the song Here Today, which is a ballad that he wrote for John in John's memory. And so that song, and he still does it. If you've seen Paul live in the last few years, he does that song. But most notably, this album was produced by George Martin, who was famously the producer that worked with the Beatles. And so I would like to say this is sort of a return to the Beatles sound that Paul has. It's really not. It's definitely a pop album. It's got an 80s sort of sound to it. Another big hit on this album was Ebony and Ivory, the duet he did with Stevie Wonder. Now, before I hear all the groans out there, I know Ebony and Ivory is a bit of a cheesy song, but please don't judge the rest of the album based on that, because there is another fantastic collaboration between Paul and Stevie Wonder called What's That You're Doing, which is a great, funky little number, and it blows Ebony and Ivory out of the water. Now, fortunately, Ebony and Ivory, if that is your least favorite song that McCartney's ever done, is the last song on the album. So there's not a whole lot to, you don't have to sit through it kind of in the middle of the record. But it's just a really nice album. I remember hearing this for the first time when I was in college and thinking to myself, just what a great, mine's a Columbia pressing, because this is that short time that Paul was with Columbia Records. But I remember thinking just the overall quality of this album was so much better than a lot of stuff I'd heard Paul solo. And Paul's solo stuff can be a bit spotty. And the thing is, Paul really, to me, he's a very melodic writer. He's got a great gift for melody. But to me, he squanders some of that sometimes on just fluff. And that's not to say this album is not without the fluff, but the fluff is really, really good. It's a sweet sounding record. It's got some great pop songs like Take It Away, Ballroom Dancing, which is, as silly as it is a fun song. And the beautiful ballad Wanderlust, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, with an excellent horn arrangement from George Martin. So George Martin definitely adds an air of properness to the proceedings. This is not a rock and roll album. Paul doesn't rock out here. It is a straight up pop record, and it is very much a early 80s sounding album. But in terms of Paul McCartney's solo material, I think Tug of War is one of the best solo albums he's done, and it ranks up there for me, maybe behind greater efforts like maybe Ram or Band on the Run. But in terms of McCartney, this definitely is easily maybe in my top 5 or 6 solo albums released by McCartney. And so Tug of War is today's daily record. Tune in to my other channel, Tommy Burton's VC channel. Like, subscribe, comment, and share down below. I love interacting with you guys. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. I usually show what I'm spinning there. In the meantime, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another daily record.